Howdy ho, good neighbors. How are you? It's Phil Russer, Creatorcon Q&A, episode 116. We're counting down to the last days of the show. We have some cool guests tonight, and they have a really cool book coming out that's out now. Hey, Rick, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. Yes, you are the first. I would ask everybody right now to share this out, please, as I am in a bunch of groups. We always want to give love to our guests. They work hard. People don't realize the hardest part about being an indie creator is just getting out there and marketing. We're fighting social media because Facebook is sure as hell not helping us. So let's get some people in this room. Let's help out. It's a really great project with some great artist covers, and interiors are awesome. It's a real interesting book. Did really well in Indiegogo, and Kickstarter's doing well. So let's share this love and get it out there. So anyway, Nefaris, how are you? So before we get to our guests, I just want to let everybody know Creatorcon Q&A is going to be winding down soon, and we're going to be, done, but I'm sure a hiatus is really the word for it. But from time to time when there's projects and I have the time and the ability, of course, I'd like to promote because we have to promote indie creators. So anyway, tonight's guests, they are part of a group that is doing a lot of wonderful things, Global Frequency Studios. They have their YouTube channel. They were very kind to have me on a guest once before. It's a great entertaining show. They're really cool people. They also have a comic book out right now, Mavericks. It's on Kickstarter. It's got 8 days to go, so we're going to sit here and talk about it. We're going to push it. We're going to tell you to get it. If you don't, I'm going to toilet paper your house. All right. So without further ado, our guests, Neff and Frequency Girl.
Hey, how's it going, Phil? Good to see you.
Good.
Man. I'll throw the eggs.
Yeah, really. Well, it is coming to be Halloween soon, right? So
yeah,
what's Halloween without egging something?
Right.
I am sharing out. That's why I'm looking down. So forgive me. But how you guys doing?
We're doing all right. It's been a long road getting here.
Yeah.
A little exhausting.
Yeah.
But we're into the last week of the campaign, and we couldn't be happier with how far we've come.
I have to tell you, first time, and what you did on Indiegogo is insane.
Thank you.
It's insane.
Yeah,
that just shows you that there's a love and a desire for this book. And it looks really interesting, and it's right up the alley. So we're definitely getting into that. I'm going to start off first with, if you want, Neff, give us a little background on yourself, and then actually, ladies first. Frequency Girl, give us a background on yourself, and then Neff, please join in and tell us.
Well, I'm kind of the girl Friday around here. Kind of do all of the tasks that no one else wants to do or has the time to do because they're off in the creating new worlds land, and then I have to figure out how to make it happen in this one.
Yeah, you and I speak frequently, actually.
Yes. We're good friends now. Phil, you have saved my butt a few times.
Well, I didn't realize that, but no problem.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I kind of do all the logistics and stuff, which is surprising that I taught kindergarten for like 13 years before we moved, and I took some time off. And there's actually a lot of skills from being a teacher that kind of carry over to herding cats. I mean, being in charge of artists.
Listen,
and writers.
Artists, creators are not just herding cats. They're herding cats on catnip.
Yes. That's true. Yes, that is very true.
My mother's here. She says hello.
Hi.
Will says hi. He's another artist I represent. He's an amazing artist, by the way. And Rick is being his usual snarky self. So, Neff, tell us about you.
Okay, so I am the creator and writer on Mavericks Origins Volume 1, and I'm the creator of the Mavericks IP. I also founded Global Frequency Studios back in 20-something. Was it 15, 16? Yeah. As an artists and writers incubator for, people who wanted to get their start as amateur creators and didn't really know how, didn't know didn't have the discipline to do it, didn't have the the strengths necessary, and so we decided to put Mavericks through the paces and put it out ourselves, just as an example of what we would be capable of doing in general for other people, if they wanted to get involved with Global Frequency. We've got another project coming down the pipe soon. It's a children's book this time. It's a song book, so the art is narrated by the words, which are set to music, and in the back there's a score so you can learn to play the music, and it also is accompanied by a song by the mother and daughter who are the creators of the thing. So it's going to be really neat. We can't wait to see
Very
how
cool.
well that does. But
Are
as
they
far
doing
as
the
Mavericks
music
is
also?
concerned,
Yes.
yeah, they're
Cool.
doing the music also. As far as Mavericks is concerned, I went to school for screenwriting, and while I was there, I started working on a movie that I thought would be like a standalone one-off about, giant robot pilots in the future. And the more that I worked on it and talked to my friends about it, the more I realized that it was going to be more than just a standalone movie, and it would probably have to be, several movies to really tell the story that I wanted to. And I was telling Garrett about it, and Garrett, who's the artist on the book, became really fascinated by the idea. He said, "This is great. Have you ever considered doing it as a graphic novel? That way we don't have to come up with billions of dollars in studio money. We can just do it
Right.
ourselves." And I said, "That's a fantastic idea." Garrett went to school at the Hartford Art School in Connecticut, and he's a very, very talented guy. And I'm really he's a first-time comic book artist, but he's not a first-time artist. Just like I'm a first-time
Right.
comic book writer, but I'm not a first-time writer.
Right.
So this was an
Plus,
interesting
screenplays are
foray.
very similar to comic scripts. So
Exactly. You just there's a slightly different way of writing when you're writing sequentially, planning out the panels on the page rather than just runtime. Because page space is the equivalent in comic books to time in film. So when you're figuring
Right.
out how many pages are in a screenplay for film, you're writing with time in mind. When you're writing for comic books, you're writing with page space in mind. But you're right, they're very similar disciplines. So Garrett was like, "Hey, let's give it a shot ourselves." We did. We sat down. I turned the script that I was working on into just sort of like a blueprint. Garrett and I were hanging out, watching anime, as you do, drinking wine. And we came up with the idea for sort of a prelude piece to the main series about a showdown between two very badass mech pilots. And that became the basis, that idea of that fight scene became the basis for Origins. And so then I took to writing Origins Part 1 and mapping out Origins Part 2 for, I guess, our first book. Our first 60-page book is Origins Part 1. And it tells the story of 6 pilots who go behind enemy lines to secure some refugees and help their exfiltration. And they encounter something they're not prepared to deal with, and it becomes a desperate fight for survival against overwhelming odds. And it's very exciting. There's elements of intrigue. So it skates the line of a military thriller, but it's also an action book. So it's set in the near future, so it's speculative science fiction. We call it a sci-fi military action thriller, if that makes any sense.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way, just to let you know, Jim O'Reilly says hi. If you ever want a really high quality artist to do a cover for you, a variant cover, Jim O'Reilly is an awesome artist. He's also a very good man.
We will keep the name in mind.
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you
I
for
collect
volunteering.
cover artists, as you know.
Yeah, Jim O'Reilly did a cover on mine, and he's a phenomenal artist, and you should check out his work. And he's easy to work with. He's no ego.
Definitely.
He's wonderful to work with. So,
Awesome.
I will.
Thank you.
We have 12 covers in total on Mavericks.
nice. I'm all for the big covers, man.
Right? We got 5 on Kickstarter. We had 5 on Indiegogo. There is a secret wraparound cover in the collector's box. Then, of course, there's the main cover. So 12 in total. We were going to do a calendar out of it, but then we decided to do a calendar with something else.
That's cool. Yeah, someone approached me about a calendar. That's a great idea. So, when you're writing, I mean, obviously you have the background. What's the biggest challenge you have when you adapted to a graphic novel style of writing? What was your biggest challenge?
Really learning. So I had to read Scott McCloud, and I had to learn how to write a comic script.
There you go.
So I looked at a bunch of different scripts. So when you're screenwriting and you're learning a new genre of film, The best way to go about doing it is to read screenplays by other writers who you like in that genre. So I started reading screenplays. Like I think the first action film that I worked on, I read Batman as a way of like, getting a feel for writing an action sequence. So when I was working on Mavericks, I started reading other comic books out there that kind of had a similar feel, so I could break down their narrative structure into their panel design. Unfortunately, I wasn't finding a blueprint because there really is no set way to write a comic script.
Right.
So I went and I hit the books and I read Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics, and then Scott McCloud's writing for comics. And I found scripts by Jim Zub to probably be the best blueprint for my purposes anyway of how to write a script, because they're incredibly efficient. He writes what is on the page, the necessary action, and he leaves everything else out. And it really streamlines the script to be able to track the action and necessary perspective for the panels, because clarity is an important thing. When you're writing, you need readability. So you need to balance clarity with intensity, right? And you need to design the comic with readability in mind. You can't do too many flashy, crazy things. That's when you get like bad comics from the 90s, where everything was happening all over the place and you couldn't see a thing. But when you go too deep into clarity, you get comic books, which is it's 9 grid after 9 grid after 9 grid, and it's boring as hell.
Right.
So you need to be able to learn to balance your clarity and your intensity, and learning that balance and page structure, how many panels to put on a page, what's reasonable to expect an artist to be able to do. That was the hardest thing, I think, for me, was just transitioning and getting a real feel for writing within the genre, writing with sequential art in mind. Because anyone would write a story.
So when you were writing the script and keeping all these things in mind, you had said before, giving some artist interpretation as well. How loose were you with Garrett that he could improvise and do his thing? And me personally, I often see that when you do that, an artist actually comes back with a better camera angle than I had in my own head.
Mm-hmm. I don't generally give him angles. I tell him what is in the panel.
Gotcha.
He decides how to show it. That's what I mean by Jim Zub. I tell him just what's there. And if something's happening, what's happening. And I break up the page according to the amount of space I think each element deserves. Like if there's a moment where like Wolverine snicks out his claws, right? That's a beat panel. That's something where you focus on that moment that the claws come out of the hand. So I'll tell him beat panel here. If he wants to include that beat in a prior portion of the panel where like he draws it and the claws are coming out sideways and you see the snicked in the foreground, what I'm telling him though is that I want that beat to be pronounced, so I'd include that as a panel. He could go with it or not go with it. Sometimes like I try and keep I hover, I should say, around 6 panels. Between 6 and 8 is a very easy place to be. I've brought Garrett to 12 before. And hovering around 6 allows him to add panels if he wants without ballooning the page into way too many panels to read, or allows, if we go to 8, it allows him to condense things, because a lot of people these days, they'll write like with a couple of vertical panels and a beautiful horizontal panel, and then like a mid, like the bottom half is just a beautiful, almost like a splash. Yeah, exactly.
Half splash.
Or like you'll do 2 panels and a middle panel and then 3 panels. So like when you're breaking it up, you have to imagine how much space is going to be dedicated to each important element. A beat panel like that does not need a whole lot of space. So when I write with Garrett, the other thing that we do when we work together is we sit down and we thumbnail together. And this is something that I've done with 2 of the other artists that I've worked with so far in comics. And I really like it because I can take the script as I've written it, as I've seen these panels, and sit down with them and tell them, okay, let's box it out. Let's imagine what we're doing on this page. This is how I envisioned applying what is in the script to the page. How do you see it? And really how do you see it? How do you want to draw it? What angle do you want to use? What do you think? Do we need to condense these panels here? Like I was working with another artist that I work with, Joe Catapano, and I had a 12-page story, he couldn't put out enough panel or pages in the amount of time that we had. I had to cut it down to a 10-page story. How do you tell the entire story that you have, which is already just 12 pages? It's half a book, it's not even a full book. How do you take that and condense it down into 10 pages without losing readability? Because you don't want to over bloat everything and have way too many panels. So we had to sit down together and really work at what we were able to condense, because also the way that the pages were set out, since they're 12 pages, each page was meaningful as a single composition into itself. Each page was a memory. Each page was a event occurrence. So I couldn't just turn the page or jump from one page to another and maintain the thought. Each page had to be a complete thought. So how do we take 12 pages of thoughts and condense it down into 10 pages? You got to really work with the artist if you're going to do something like that. And I think the best way to do it is to give them just a basic idea of what it is you want in the panel, an overview if you need to of what you're doing with the page, and let their imagination fill everything else in.
And do you take into account, though, word balloons as far as dialogue and space for that? Some people don't realize that. You have to really take that into account. Those have to be big enough panels, because you also don't want to be covering up all the art, especially pertinent, art.
That's one of the reasons that I find thumbnailing is really good, because when we're thumbnailing it out and they're doing their little doodles, I'm like, don't forget here, we have we have dialogue and it's 2 sentences. Now, if you're breaking that bubble this big, those 2 sentences are going to be 5 lines long. You got to give me enough height to put that dialogue in the bubble. We don't want to clutter up the panel too much, and we don't want to throw stuff on top of art. I hate putting balloons on top of stuff I want to look at. I really hate doing that. I want especially the words to be balanced with the art. I want the art and the words to be intentionally put on the page together, such that there is a synergy between the printed letters and the drawn art. It's another reason that I'm so picky about sound effects. I think sound effects need to be interacting with the art in some way. It's one thing to just add a kablam.
No,
but if you've seen the art, if you've seen like the art on the Mavericks main page, there's that big brap coming off of Ripper's chain gun, and the front is just getting shot off. It's getting chunked to pieces. That's the type of sound effect that I love, where it interacts with the art. It makes the brap that much more enjoyable. So
now, does your artist do that sound effect, or does your letterer do it?
No, the artist draws it in. All of the sound effects that interact with the backgrounds are done by the artist. Eric Weathers, who did the letters, he did add in some of the sound effects for like the radio. Pretty much anything that touches the bubbles in some way is Eric, and anything that's really in the art is Garrett. And I'm lucky to have 2 guys who are conscious enough to be able to use sound effects that way.
Right. Very cool.
Garrett was very influenced by like Daniel Warren Johnson
and Keith Haring.
Yeah. And their art, they do.
Or James Haring, I'm sorry. Yeah. Keith Haring was the guy.
I wasn't going to correct
you. I'm like, oh, maybe I have it wrong.
Man. Yeah. James Haring, the guy who did Ultra Mega.
And their sound effects are fantastic too.
Yeah.
Very cool. By the way, I noticed in the background you've got the Harley picture. You looking like Harley tonight there. There you go.
That's why I said like, if someone was going to play, it would be Marco Robbie.
Yeah.
Look at that. Very cool.
Yeah. Pigtails are just easier.
Yeah, pigtails don't look as good on me. We're gonna show the Kickstarter page and we want to play the trailer because this is a really good looking book and everybody deserves to see this. I'm gonna make it as big as possible, so forgive me for blocking you out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's play this bad boy.
War is a topic of vital importance, a subject of inquiry that cannot be ignored. It is a matter of life and death. It can be a road to safety or to ruin.
In an alternate version of our world, brought to the brink of total collapse, rival nations fight for global domination, and elite pilots in futuristic combat suits wage war on the battlefield of tomorrow. Now, 6 brave soldiers on a seemingly routine rescue mission will encounter more than they bargained for and uncover a dangerous secret that could change their world if they live long enough to see it. Mavericks Origins Volume 1.
All right, first of all, that's a kick-ass trailer. Who did that?
Thank you.
That was Aaron.
Yeah, that was me.
That was the animation?
No, the
No,
animation
not
was
the
a guy
animation.
in Argentina.
We hired someone for that.
What the heck was his name?
Dramon.
That
I
was
don't remember.
incredible. And was that
So
you
he
doing
worked
the
on-
voiceover?
Yeah, I did the female voiceover. Yeah.
Very nice.
Jermon
you.
worked on Gurren Lagann, the anime. So he does robot stuff, which is why we went with him. So he did the animation. I did the cutting, the editing, placing the voice lines, the syncopation to the music, and then got the effects and everything like that. So
I have to talk to you about that after.
it's a pain. It's an enormous pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'll
we
get somebody
were
else to do all
working
that
on it.
editing, but
Oh yeah. We were
can't do
working
it.
on it all the way up to launch day,
Yeah.
2 hours before we pressed the button to go live.
Wow. Well, It was worth it. Hey, Glenn's here. What's up, Glenn? But that's one of the better trailers I think I've ever seen on a Kickstarter.
Thank
Nice
you.
job.
Thank you.
And nice
you very much.
voiceover.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had
That's
to
really
channel my inner Katara from Avatar.
Airbender,
It was
yeah.
really good. So we're going to get back to the page. So first of all, I want to tell everybody, statistics show, when you have a trailer, you have a better chance of being successful on the Kickstarters. And to me, if you could put that kind of effort into a trailer, what do you think they put into the book? That's the first thing I want to tell everybody. So, the goal was $1,500. You have $6,773 with 60 backers, 8 days to go, which is beautiful. It's wonderful, but it's not enough. Things cost money, guys. So see this green right here? I'm going to be clicking it, and I'm going to be pledging. Hit that back to project. I mean, I say this all the time. Forego one $8 Starbucks coffee where they spell your name wrong, and pick up the book. It's a better investment than what you're going to pee out in 20 minutes. Just buy the book.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So let's take a look at this. Now you gave us a synopsis, but feel free as we go through this to narrate as you wish as far as the book.
No, it's pretty much the trailer says it pretty well. It's 6 brave soldiers on a seemingly routine rescue mission will encounter more than they bargained for and uncover a dangerous secret that could change their world if they live long enough to see it. I wrote the copy, so it's pretty much that.
And like, if you like any of these genres and these titles, you would like this. And
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
a G.I. Joe
I mean,
fan. I played Metal
yeah.
Gear like everybody else.
If you like G.I. Joe, if you like red lasers and blue lasers, you're gonna love this. If you played Metal Gear and you loved like sort of like a military style thriller game that involves mecha and like giant robots, you're gonna dig this. If you played Armored Core or Front Mission, you like military films like Lone Survivor or Extraction, you put that together, you're really gonna enjoy it. I think the two most common analogies that I've had from the editor have been Battletech meets Black Hawk Down and Predator meets Pat Labor. I don't know if those of you know Pat Labor out there, but that's another mecha show. It's an anime, but it's got that feel. Like the mission goes sideways and it becomes a desperate fight for survival. And how are they going to get extracted? A lot like Black Hawk Down, and they're dealing with something very dangerous that they're not prepared to deal with. A lot like Predator. So you've got two films right there that kind of embody that emotional element of the story, that feeling that you're going to have reading it.
Very cool. By the way, Carlos Rafael, who's another indie creator with some great books out there. The Mobius-esque art is great in the trailer. Very Euro heavy metal looking. Is that the art on the interiors?
Yes, that's all the interior art. That's
Yep.
Garrett. Garrett loves Mobius. He loves
And heavy metal.
Jean Girard. He was very influenced by heavy metal growing up. He loves the Belgian style, very Euro. Also, the book is oversized 9x12 format because he wanted to do it kind of like an art book art style. So,
we framed it off of Gypsy.
Yeah, we actually did. Yeah, framed it off of Gypsy, which is a Belgian book. So, or it's not a Belgian book; it's a Belgian style book. So if you see here, it's much bigger.
Let me get you on the camera.
It's gonna be perfect bound like Gypsy because it's 60 pages. Nice. And so this is just a teaser comic.
We just printed just to get
an
idea
of
what
it's very, very comparably sized.
Very cool.
So we modeled it off of this.
Yeah, and all the art in the trailer that's not animation is Garrett's interiors. Those are pages from.
Honestly, on the Kickstarter page, you can just scroll down and see the interiors. We posted
we're gonna do
8 pages of interior work there, and all of the graphics that are on the page done in Photoshop. All of that's art from the book in the background.
Glenn says that's cool.
Thank you.
Before we get back to the page, who did the mech designs and the character designs?
That was
you worked together?
Yeah, we'd work together. I would tell Garrett what I wanted, and we would talk about how to do it. We have a back and forth a lot. We talk a lot about mecha stuff.
Yeah.
Why do mechs need 5 fingers? They don't. Why do mechs need heads? They don't. If you're going to have mass-produced military giant walking war machines, you don't want to do heads. They'll get shot in the face. You want to go as much like a walking tank as you possibly can, and as little as an intricate Gundam style robot. If you have an enemy fighter ace who's got a unique machine of their own, then maybe I could see putting a head on it and dressing it up a little bit, making it look really sharp and awesome and sporty, but more of like a generic look for just what the soldiers are going to be using. I had this idea for a synthodermal armor plating that you could kind of put on the exterior of a cockpit that would give you sort of a translucent, from the inside anyway, ability to see through it using a holographic visor. So we talked about how to integrate the helmet, because the helmet doesn't have traditional glass. It's a holographic visor, and everything you see on the interior of the cockpit is what the pilot is seeing through his visor. It's not like the cockpit suddenly becomes translucent. It looks like the front of a robot. He's just seeing through it through that VR display. Very
cool. And the main characters, obviously, they're human characters that are using these mechs. They're operating these mechs. Yep. Is there any bit of you or Frequency Girl or
No, my character's in the main.
I based a character off of her in the main series. When I write characters, I find that there's always a part of me that's in that character. That's how that character becomes real. So Teresa is kind of like she's the squad leader. She's the part of me that really wants to have it all work out in the end. The part of me that's kind of perseveres over obstacles and really is determined because I owe it to everybody to see this through to the end and make it the very best that I can, so that's the squad leader. Opposite that, you've got Hotshot. He's kind of the show off, the braggart. He likes to go fast. He has a big sense of style. He likes big hats and belt buckles, and he's a bit of a macho man. He's kind of like a hotshot. So like that part of me it exists also. There's Jester.
Very much you.
He makes inappropriate jokes all the time. He likes wordplay and bad puns, and he likes getting under people's skin and making fun of stuff. And opposite him, you've got Charlotte Hill, Cold Shoulder, she has a very sharp tongue. She likes cutting him down to size, shooting him down, giving him the cold shoulder. She's a bit of a tsundere. She's modeled sort of off of Asuka from Evangelion, or from Rei Tokusa from Fate Stay. But like all of these characters in some way kind of are extensions of myself. I think you have to, when you're writing, find something of yourself in that character for it to be authentic.
Oh, I agree. No better way to write than from yourself.
Yeah. Write what you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't know it, go learn it.
Right. So, get back to the page. Why does it do that all the time? I click it and it doesn't do it. All right. So it's a 60-page book. It's oversized by 9 by 12, like you said. There are 5
But
variant
60
covers to choose
story
from.
pages. And right now it's actually going to be more than 60 story pages because we did the some of the final count ups today, and it might be something like 66, but we said
cool.
60 when we launched this. It's going to be 60 story pages no matter what. It's going to wind up being more story pages, and there's bonus material, so it's going to be a nice fat book.
Very cool. So you can get the digital download for $15. Remember, this is an oversized book, and it's a lot of pages. Minimum 60, maybe as close to 70. Then you can get the main cover here. It's $20. Will you get the digital download with this tier as well?
And a print by Mike McMahon and a bookmark, because everyone needs a bookmark.
Yeah.
Very cool. You know, I didn't realize, because I don't care for stickers, probably because my kids get them stuck on the floor everywhere, and it aggravates the crap out of me. Because you can't get it back off, and they're wood floors. You'll scratch at the floor. So, but I didn't realize how much adults like stickers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you put
Yes.
stickers in as a stretch goal, and everybody's all over it. They're like, "Oh God, I want that sticker." So that's pretty cool.
We have 14 stickers. 16 stickers. On this,
Wow.
but they're all one tier. They're all one stretch goal. So it's not well, technically they
14
are.
of them are one stretch goal.
And then the 2 others were at the top when we unlocked the secret character. But yeah, like one stretch goal was 14 stickers.
And one thing we're doing is we're combining totals from Indiegogo and Kickstarter
For the purposes of the
they
stretch
overlapped
goals.
by like a week. So all stretch goals are unlocked based off of the totals. So we're building off it because we didn't think it was fair to give stuff to one side and
not to the other.
So
So everyone's
if it was
getting everything.
unlocked.
Well, that's
So-
cool.
Everything's
Very
getting
nice.
everything on the list. Guys, we're only like 15,000 away from getting that animated comic book. It's doing the motion comic. Get me $15,000 and I will get you a motion comic.
Let's go, people! Come on. So you got
This is a new edition.
A cosplay
Yeah.
calendar. Very cool.
Yeah, so Autumn Ivy is the official cosplayer for the character of Mother, and she did a calendar with us, which was really cool. She did a photo shoot, and we put it through Photoshop and processed all the images, and they look really awesome. And I'm leaking them one at a time on Twitter.
Slowly.
So, yeah, check that out.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, and then you got tell us about this tier.
So the spare magazines are the variant covers. Each spare magazine, you can pick A, B, C, D, or E. You've got for A, you've got V. Ken Marion. B, you've got the Jae Kwong Park. C, you've got Luigi Terrell. D, you've got the Adele Fockery. And E, you've got Ricardo Silva. That looks familiar, right? Ricardo Silva.
That one is
and Peter
inked.
Palmiotti on it.
Yeah,
there
that
it
one's inked
is.
by Peter
It was also inked
Palmiotti.
by Peter. So with the spare mags, you get one of the variants plus a 5x7 metal print of the virgin cover art on that variant, as well as everything in the basics tier. So the book, the print, the bookmark, and the digital download. And you also get this 28-page companion book, the Mavericks Active Duty Ashcan Anthology, which has 3 side missions that are set in the Mavericks universe, sort of on the periphery of this story in Mavericks Origins. It's not necessary to get this to enjoy Mavericks Origins, but if you do, there are dots that will connect, and you'll have a much deeper appreciation for the world that this is set in.
Yeah, it definitely enhances
Yeah,
it.
it enhances the experience. And it's also from guest artists and writers. So I wrote one story in here and edited one of the others, but that's it.
That's
Yeah,
very
Travis
cool.
Gibb.
Travis
wrote one.
Travis Gibb wrote one, and Lee Byron Carver wrote the other, though, the one that I edited. And Joe Catapano did the art for the one that I wrote. And then we've got John Dillard doing the one for Lee. And Travis's artist, actually, he came down with COVID. So we're in the midst of trying to get a replacement. But we should have that figured out pretty soon. It's only a 4-page backup.
Yeah, it's a
so that won't be
4-pager.
a problem.
Cool.
So Travis
I
promised
know.
it'll get.
I know a
done.
few artists.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I said. I'm
One or
like,
two, right? One
hey.
or two. Just a few. Then
Very
we've got the
cool.
fully loaded campaign box, which in my opinion is the best value on this campaign. It's every spare mag plus all of the prints from the spare mags, the Active Duty Ashcan Anthology, everything in the basics tier, plus a special wraparound cover, X-Men homage done by Pau Rodrigues and colored by Carlos Moreno.
Awesome.
Then it's got the collector's box itself, which you will not get unless you order the campaign box. And as a special bonus, you get the Mavericks dog tag. Now, not only is that a high quality dog tag, on the reverse side, there is a QR code. And you can scan that QR code and it'll take you to a page on the upcoming, soon to be released Mavericks.com website, which will be the pilot roster database for each campaign that we put out. So long story short, you'll be able to design the look, call sign, color, and model of your own mech and pilot for the Mavericks universe.
Yep.
Oh, wow. That's
So you want to
cool.
you want to have a pilot with a particular mech? Yeah, get the box and you can scan your dog tags and show all your friends. That's me. Corresponds to your backer number.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been very creative with this. I think that's awesome. Guys, I mean, whoever's watching, for them to put all this into this, imagine what they put into the book. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Book's getting good. We
Awesome.
Speaking of like what we put into the book, so like I said, this was our first time.
Oh my
you wanna
god,
tell
a
about
metal
that?
lunchbox.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a metal lunchbox and it has a travel mug because nobody uses tiny thermoses anymore. They do use thermal insulated travel mugs. There is a playmat for either a keyboard or Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or, any other card game that you play. It's a thin neoprene playmat with the cover art for the two-sided cover by Pau on it, and it has a 4-inch resin figure, 3D printed resin figure that you can paint if you want, and it has a 16 gig hard drive, external hard drive, with Mavericks on one side and the flag for the unification on the other. And loaded on that hard drive will be a PDF document of all sorts of additional extras that flesh out the world that it's set in. Bonus content, character head sketches, Mavericks design specs, additional background documents. So if you want all of the lore, you want the supply drop.
Well, first of all, you had me a metal lunchbox. All right, period. I'm an old man. You had me a metal lunchbox. Yep. Second of all, this is just so incredibly creative as hell. I mean, the flash drive, everything, the personalized mech idea. Wow. Will was saying that stitch on patches with your emblem would be cool too.
We have that as a stretch goal, and it's unlocked.
So we did the 2 flags from the countries,
and there's a black one that just has the logo that says Mavericks.
Yep.
That's unlocked on the campaign. Everyone's getting those.
So that was a secret surprise that we didn't announce. Right. So it's not on the campaign, but you'll be getting a 3rd patch.
So when we unlock the patches tier. Yeah. Bro, like I said, we did a lot of research on this. We looked at all of the successful Kickstarters and other crowdfunders that have been out there. We looked at the books, the quality of the books. I backed a ton of projects to see what the stretch goals included were. We reverse engineered some of the designs of the stuff on the campaigns based off of what else is in I guess the crowdfunding industry right now. So it was a lot of research. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to pick your brain where you got the metal lunch boxes and a few other things in the animation.
Those are just we can give you exactly the name of the company.
Yes, please. Kim's sending it now. Yeah. Look at her on the ball.
She's doing it right now. Yeah.
She's sending it right now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could send me the that animator as well.
Yeah.
Esteban Noel, how are you, my friend? He asked, where'd you go to get the custom lunch boxes and pins? There you go.
Frequency Girl is in charge of all of that because I turn to her and say, you know what I think would be great? I want to do an ammo can for this. But I don't think we can do an ammo can because people don't use ammo cans. They're too narrow. Right. What about a lunchbox? Go make me a lunchbox. And then she'll go out and she'll check all the different vendors and all the different pricing, and she'll check who has the time frame, the timeline that we're looking for, and where they're shipping from, what the shipping costs are. She'll go and she'll cover all the angles, come back and say, yes, I can do a lunchbox. So she's in charge of all of that stuff.
So the
pins.
By the way,
are.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the pins are wizard.com Wizardpins.com.
Wizardpins.com,
Sorry. And the lunchbox is with logos.com.
Yep.
But I'll send that all to you.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, and if you want another like superstar artist, Billy Tucci, this is right up his alley. He loves military. You know, I mean, he was in the military, and it's right up his alley. I mean, he's busy right now, so you probably can't get him until January. But
Well, I mean, it'd be great to get Billy Tucci on
For
something.
volume
And,
two?
like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen, but I'm a huge She fan. Like in the background here is the figure,
Whoops.
still in the damn box. Like I
You
backed
just took down
his
your medal.
last his last 2 campaigns for She on both Kickstarter and Indiegogo, so I could get the unique variants plus the metal versions. I mean, I love Billy. Billy's a great guy. If I
Plus,
thought
it's the island.
if I thought Billy would talk to me, I totally would have reached out to him.
well, Billy will talk to you, and if you want, I live 3 blocks away. I'm friends with him. If I could always
Oh,
ask
yeah,
him if
that's
you're
awesome.
interested.
Yeah, right on, man. Absolutely.
yeah.
I'd
I
love to
helped
see what
him.
he has to
I
say.
helped him do fulfillment for She Return of the Warrior.
That's
Oh,
so
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably touched my books then.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say I helped him move his couch, you know? Like,
And you can tell him that we're Islander fans. So, you know, that'll help.
Oh, he'll
Esteban,
love
the
you.
name of the Lunchbox company was
With
withlogos.com.
Yeah, I just got it now. Cool. Kim is on top of everything. Look at that. Kim, can you clone yourself? Because I really need help.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
frequency
really.
girl is essential to getting these crowdfunders done expediently and in an organized fashion. Like when you finally get to the stretch goals, because
sorry, I sent you the
that's
same
a
one
big
twice.
flex on this campaign. Is we did a stretch goal every $1,000, and they're not little stretch goals either. I said, okay, I need a stretch goal every $1,000, and then I guess after that every 5. So I need to figure out what we're going to do for 22 to 23 stretch goals. What are we going to do? And so we looked at all the other campaigns and saw what other stretch goals are out there, but then we had to figure out how to do them ourselves, So Kim had
Very
to
cool.
network with 22 other
You-
parties to make sure that it was getting done on
Yes.
time.
Well, you're going to need to make a ton of money just to pay for all these awesome goodies that you're putting out here. My God.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Surprisingly, some of the stuff was cheaper than we anticipated. And then some of
Yeah.
the stuff was more expensive. Do you know how expensive a travel mug is?
Yes.
It was ridiculous.
I
I didn't
know,
know how
that's why I
expensive
didn't
it
do
would be to
them.
make a travel mug.
But, I can direct you to Moto Glass. He does shot glasses, pint glasses, and beer
Shot
mugs.
glass.
And he does them etched. I can even show you the ones he did for me for Tragedy. And he
Nice.
really works with you, and he's affordable.
Yeah,
Moto
that's
Glass,
I found a
MOTO
coupon
Glass.
for our travel mugs.
Yeah,
so.
she did. She found a coupon for the travel mugs,
Nice.
which put it right under the threshold
exactly.
of
I'm
where
like,
we
if only
needed
we
it.
could get it under this amount. And I'm like, wait, they have a coupon.
Which is why we were
Yes.
able to do the lunchbox, the travel mug, the figure, the memory stick, and the mat for $45. I don't think
Oh,
I've seen a package like that out there for $45.
No, and where'd you get the figure? Did you put that
The
in
figure
there
we
too?
made. We designed it with an STL file, and we have a 3D printer, a guy who
very
runs
cool.
a bunch of 3D printers
Yeah,
near
as a
us.
friend of ours
So all we had to do was
who
really
has a
buy the materials,
business.
and we saved a bunch of money budgeting for that because the materials are kind of, not that expensive. And since we can do the STL modeling ourselves, it's a nice add-on into the package.
Very cool. So you got the variant covers, and again, they all come with the 5x7 metal mini prints of the version.
Well, no, they
All
don't
right.
actually. The backup mag, which is an add-on, it does not come with the 5x7 metal mini print. The only way to get a mini print
Oh,
of the
okay.
cover art is to get the spare magazine. That's a backup
Gotcha.
mag in case you just wanted to get yourself a sweet cover that you didn't want to back, which is why I say,
Gotcha.
go get yourself the campaign box. The campaign box is really where it's at. It gets you everything. It lets you create a pilot. It gives you a cool box to store all of this stuff in. We priced out shipping for the campaign box domestically. It's only $5 more than the regular book, and the package is over 8 pounds and bigger than a foot long. It's 13 inches by
Wow.
10 inches. It's a brick. You could
Yeah.
beat someone to death
We
with the
did not
collector's
suggest
box.
that you beat someone to death.
No,
Yeah.
we have to put a disclaimer, right? Yeah, put a big
And
disclaimer.
she's on
We're
the
not
ball
advocating
again.
violence.
Yep.
Sadly, in this world, you have to worry about that because there's a moron
Right.
born every day.
Yep.
That was great. Kim is on the ball. Yeah, this is awesome. This is really awesome. I mean, Man, you guys are very smart at the marketing on this. I got to talk to you.
Check out
guys.
the stretch goals real quick. Just real quick.
Oh,
check
yeah.
out the stretch goals. Fly right through them if you want. But we started off. We went print
They're all the way
then
at the
merch.
bottom.
We alternate print then merch. So we started at down at 1,000. At the first 1,000, we unlocked a print by Luke Stone of Voodoo Nations.
Yeah, how's he doing?
also
I
did-
hope he's okay.
He's not doing so good. I think he's still in a medically induced coma right now.
That was the
of
last we
the
heard.
the last
yeah.
week. Yeah, it's the last we heard. Yeah.
That was
Oh
the
my
last we
god,
heard.
I didn't know
Not good.
that.
He's
Oh,
not doing good right now. But yeah, he did that print and it was colored by our pal Ichthus, who's working on JRPG. Then we did battle standees, which are tiny little plastic figurines, acrylic
standees.
2-inch standees, and they're two-sided. You can make like a little fight sequence out of all the little guys. So there's 7 of them for 2K. At 3K, we did another print. 4K, we did the patches that we were just talking about. 5K, yet another print. These are all A4 size prints too.
this
so
is
they're
actually
cool.
my favorite mech design.
Yep. 5th Street. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Jester.
You're gonna love Jester. Jester's
Yeah.
a fan favorite. He's got the big grinning face on the front of his mech. Those are kind of like nose art, like we liked the old World War II jet style nose art. So we put
Right.
little decals and face paint and stuff like that. Then we did a magnet for Mother. That's the pose of her on the bridge. We did another print crossover with Chaotic Flux by Scott Payne. Then we did the chibi stickers. There's 14 chibi stickers, all 6 pilots, and there's 6 Mavs. Then the 2 secret
They will all be
characters.
colored.
So
They have all
will-
been colored since then. Just we hit that
Very cool.
stretch goal.
Then we
faster
got
than we thought.
a print by Mike McMahon called Car Wash. It's a little bit of the AAT that's missing in the book. We got the first pin, which is the pin for Norca, the Northern Continental Alliance. Then we got a crossover print with Brian Shearer for Gunship Thunder Punch. And then we got the Unifications pin. So we have 2 pins on the campaign.
And those are both hard enamel.
Hard enamel. Yep. I actually have one of them sitting around here. Then we got R&R by Maxi Dallo, colored by Steve Cannon.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's the guy who does Jack Irons. So that's Jack Irons in there, arm wrestling Mother, our main character.
Cool.
Then we have a 2-sided challenge coin that Frequency Girl designed.
I did. I was very
So
proud of
she
myself.
designed the challenge coin. Then we have a print for it's another A4 print by Matt Barr, the artist on Rock and Roll Ninja graphic novel. Then we have the Storm Squad trading card set. Those are all cards done by Garrett. Then we have a print by Jeremy Theveno from Zaid Studios. Then we have a pop socket
I
that
was very
we
excited about
have
that.
for the back of your
What's a
phone.
pop socket?
A pop socket goes on the back of your phone case. It pops off so you can hold it like that.
It's like the little circle.
And
things.
they unscrew and you can change them around. You can swap your your pops on your socket. So
Oh, that's cool.
you can pop that sock on your pop and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't try and be.
And then when we hit 20K on Indiegogo, we unlocked the secret character Wendigo. So you got his sticky, his sticker. You got his standee, his sticker, and his trading card for him and his pilot Boyd Harrison, as well as Chernobog, the red samurai looking one, and his pilot Kurito.
And the 2 prints that are there in black and white, they will be colored. They just haven't been colored yet because the color is sort of a bit of a
Yeah,
backup,
Inkspots is working
so.
on the Jason Bascom at 25K, and Eric Needletowski is being colored. Who's coloring?
Teo
Eric's?
Gonzalez.
Teo Gonzalez is working on.
Eric's a cool dude and an underrated.
I love
Yeah,
Eric.
he is.
Eric
he
did-
did the graphic design for us. He put
Eric
together
did all that
the-
graphic design.
Did he?
all the
And
graphics.
have you
for
read his book
our
Shadow
campaign.
Century? It's really good.
I
Yes,
love
it's
Shadow
so
Century.
good.
He wrapped up his campaign too.
Yeah,
over
his
on
second
Indiegogo.
one.
Yeah. I backed both. I have the other one, and of course
Yep.
I'm backing this one. So
Honestly, I think that's how we got onto the subject of a color finisher, because we talked to Eric about how he
Yes.
gets his colors so sharp, and he said I use a color finisher. And
he actually used
got
Sigmund.
his. He does.
Yeah, he used Sigmund on his first book.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then I was like, so who do you use? He's like, I don't know if he's available. So I was like, all right, let's go talk to Phil.
Well, Eric actually
recommended you.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
so I was like, well, we know
right.
Phil
Yeah.
Russer. Yeah.
He's like,
that's
oh,
right.
I'll hook you with my friend who knows a bunch of guys. I'm like, oh, cool. And then when I got the
So
email, I'm
cool,
like,
man.
hey,
Yeah.
I know Phil.
Yeah, I didn't know it was
Phil's
you at first because
awesome.
it said Kim, and then I was like, oh
Yeah.
my god,
Oh
like oh my god.
my god.
So we the Billy Basco print has been unlocked. He
The
just hasn't
30K.
revealed it yet. That 30K. And 50K is that motion comic I was talking about. When you combine the totals on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, we're looking at like 33,000 right now. So come on, guys, get me 15,000 and I'll do a motion comic for you. You know those
I
cool
want- I
cuts
want
and everything in the
animated
trailer?
short.
I'll make a motion
I know.
comic out of 60 pages of cool transitions and cuts and
That would
some
be cool.
voice acting. And you want a motion comic? I'll make a motion comic.
I want an animated short. I looked into how much it would cost to do a 10-minute, a 3-minute short for
Yep.
mine.
Yep.
I mean, it's over
Astronomical, man.
$20,000.
Animation is expensive. Animation is
Yeah.
very expensive.
Because they're doing, frame by frame by frame by frame drawings.
Yes,
so
cell animation is expensive.
yeah, that's crazy.
Which
That's
is why it
very
goes
cool.
50, then 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
Then
that
100K.
has to be all going just to the animation.
So I'm going to show the interiors too, because you know what? People need to know what it looks like on the inside. So here we
So
go.
that's not actually a cover. We just used it as a cover for the teaser. That's actually a full page spread in the comic. That's a splash page.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we just use it as the exterior. Yes, Steve
And,
Garcia's animation is very expensive.
Yes.
Yes, good sir. Are you an animator, Steve?
I reach out to every time I reach out to Steve. He's a friend of mine. I adore Steve. He's a great guy. He's one of the finest human beings. Funny as hell. He was an animator on the Iron Giant and some other.
I think we
big
actually
stuff.
talked to Steve.
Yeah,
I
and
think you had given me his information, but he was he was busy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was busy. He's been busy, and he's been lighting up the con circuit. And he kind of, he was afraid to tell me how much animation costs because it was so much money. So here we go. I mean, the colors look great. The art is fantastic.
Oh, that was what I was going to say. So you said, imagine what they put into the book. Yeah, so we did the book the first time. We got to about 54, 55 pages. Found an editor named Jake Thomas from Marvel during Pencils Down. So we picked him up, got a contract with him for the first 2 books. He looked it over and we decided to redraw the book. So we redrew this book. And then we got 2/3 of the way through and said, you know what? The colors could be better. So we went back and we recolored the book. So you were saying, imagine what they put into the book. Yeah, we've done the book 3 times.
Yeah, we've put a lot.
This is the 3rd time we're doing the book.
And
But
you
we
can
like
look
it.
good touch-ups now.
Yeah.
Cool.
It looks good now.
It looks great.
Thank you.
And Garrett's doing wonderful work on the art. The mechs look awesome. It's got a nice grittiness to it.
Yeah. I love the snow on that foot. If you look on the mech foot right there.
Oh, yeah.
If you were to zoom in on that, you would see the texturing, the frost pattern that he did on the foot. It's just so good. That was those tiny little details that you really dig when you see him done
Sure.
like that.
Absolutely. Wow, look at the detail he did in that. all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he noodled everything in there. You should have seen him sitting at his Cintiq all zoomed in on one building with exposed rebar, trying to do it well.
That's crazy.
I would love to include the very first version of this page because there was no mech in it. There was just the dude standing there facing us holding a rifle, and the detail was so much lower quality. Like he didn't really have a whole lot of that detail put in. I would love to put the 2 side by side for you to go, holy crap, is this the same guy?
Yeah, Garrett's just gotten exponentially better as he's been working on it.
He keeps getting that. I'm afraid he's going to get too good by the time we finish the book. We're going to have to go and redo the book again.
Well, the detail that's involved in that is just insane. The mech alone is a lot of detail. Never mind going into the cityscape.
Yep.
I like the flesh tones that you're using here, and like the earth tones. Like really earthy tones in the colors in a lot of these panels. Very cool.
That's one of those sound effects that I love.
Yeah.
Crunch.
That
I
interacts
think it's
with
actually
the.
kerchunk.
Kerchunk.
Yeah, kerchunk.
Kerchunk. And then as you see things start getting tight and hectic inside the city. And then we have this combat collage that we put together. It's not actually a page, but it's sample poses and portions of stuff. And that's a tease of what you're going to see in the last, 20 pages of the book or so.
Yeah, because we didn't want to give.
Yeah, you're gonna see
away.
Bigfoot punch something. You're gonna see Ripper shoot his big chain gun. You're gonna see Hotshot skating around on his wheels, shooting his pistols. You're gonna see Mother pop out this shock knife and go at someone. And Cold Shoulder is gonna snipe something. Jester's gonna stand there grinning because that's what he does. Controls all the little drones and stuff. Do you
What's that,
have a
Glenn?
wife or someone who is trying to get into comic books? I have a wife.
I'm his wife.
Get
Well,
yourself a
she's-
frequency girl.
Yeah. And again, let's show the covers. We had the close-ups on the covers. We'll start.
I've
from
got
the
close-ups
top.
on the covers. There you
Yeah.
go. There's that
Okay, so we got
V-card.
cover A.
So cool.
Friend of mine, great guy. Awesome cover, man. This is amazing
Yeah,
artist.
he did a fantastic job. Yeah.
Jaquan Park. I'm
Jaquan
not
Park is,
familiar.
I still have to edit that time lapse. Gosh
Yeah,
darn
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
He just did the Conan run,
He did Kill Switch.
and he did Kill Switch.
Or Kill Watch.
Kill
rather.
Watch,
He did Kill
not
Watch.
Kill Switch.
I keep getting
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was
his interiors are really phenomenal too. If
Yeah.
you take a look, he's got a very interesting style.
He
It's
reminds
similar
me
to
of
Kim
Mahmoud-
Jong-un.
Mahmoud- He reminds me, at least this cover of Mahmoud Asrar.
Mm.
He was doing Conan. I think he still is.
That could be why. Like he
Yeah.
has a very
Yeah,
Conan-esque style.
very edgy, very good.
Yeah. Then we
Yeah.
got Luigi, of course. If you're going to
Luigi
have a
Terrell.
pinup cover, you got to get a Luigi cover.
Yeah.
Luigi does rags, and he's done a bunch of other covers out there. He's done stuff for Tyler. He's done stuff for Niobe. But yeah, he does pinup girls really well, especially on Kickstarter projects.
Yeah.
Then we have Ordell Fockery, also known as Control Alt Delete. He did a Ripper cover. If you notice, also we tried to get different Mavs, one on every cover,
Yeah.
so that
Sure.
each one feels unique and distinct.
So there's like a reason to have.
Yeah. So one's Ripper. The first one was Hot Shot. The next one was Mother. Yeah, that's Hot Shot.
That's Hot Shot.
That's really the refugees, but that's also Mother kind of overlooking the
Yeah.
refugees.
Okay.
That one is Luigi's rendition of Teresa laying on top of her Mav. And then we've got Adele Fockery doing Ripper, which is really cool. I love his textured style.
Yeah.
And then the last one is, of course,
It's
Mother
again, 'cause
with
she's the
Mother
main
with that Mav.
Yeah.
On the Indiegogo, we had more
We had Bigfoot.
right punching through a wall. We had Cold Shoulder and the Sniper's Perch.
So everyone has their.
Everyone has like their own distinct,
Yeah.
unique cover. Mother
Very
got the
cool.
most play because she's the main character.
Absolutely. And this is by Ricardo Silva and Peter Palmiotti with colors by Marcos Martins.
Carlos knows it. Carlos Rafael's got it. Luigi did art for me. Some of my favorite promo art
Yeah.
was Luigi Terrell. Luigi does great covers and does great promo art, and his interiors are fantastic too. But I don't know if I could ever get Luigi to do interiors for me. He's very busy. He's always so busy.
He's a good guy.
He's working for Brian. I love that. I love that book. I would never take Luigi away from Brian because then I wouldn't get enough rags.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
No, you would love
there's another
rags.
reason to not take that
Yeah.
artist. I want that book.
Yeah.
So, guys, what's going on here? Do I have to pull out the toilet paper?
They still got a week, right? They can take their
they do.
time.
I will be pulling out toilet paper, and I will be toilet paper in house. TP
I mean, he
all
knows
over
who's
front.
watching the show, right?
Yeah.
I do think Glenn had a question. Glenn said, "Do you have suggestions on how to get into comics?" Now, Glenn, it depends upon what capacity you're looking to get into comics. Are you looking to be a writer? Are you looking to be an artist? Are you looking to be an editor?
He's a writer.
Producer? Oh, he's a writer. Well, the best way probably would be to start with learning the basics. I would suggest Scott McCloud. He has these great books. They're very easy to read. They're actually comic books. They're thick comic books, but they're still comic books. It'll tell you all the basics you need to understand for the foundation and formulas of comic books. And then you need to just study some scripts and, find your voice, the way that you like to write a comic book script, and then talk to some artists, see if they're down to draw your art, compare prices. Phil knows a couple artists who might be willing to help you with that. Pay some money and get a comic book drawn.
Well, the funny thing is, Glenn is on the high end of the autistic spectrum, and he wrote a fantasy book, and he had no money, so I did find him artists, and
nice.
That's awesome.
They're doing the book for him for free, and I got Alex Sinclair is going to color a cover for him.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
And it's just obviously because it's being done for free, paid projects are going ahead of it, so it's taking a long time. So. But you're gonna see it.
Once you've done all of that, you got your book. Go to a convention, get yourself a table, and congratulations, you're working in comics. That's it.
Yeah, Glenn, he's gonna show the world that you can be autistic and still, do something amazing. So
be autistic and artistic.
Right. We also, before we wrap everything up, you guys run Global Frequencies, and you have a really great show that I've witnessed firsthand.
Got to have you on
This is the YouTube page. Yeah. There's the YouTube channel, of course. Global Frequency Studios, guys. They have 364 subscribers. Make it 365 or more. I'm not subscribed. I am now.
Yeah, it's 365.
Yeah, on the last day of the year. Okay. So they got the trailer going on here, and of course you can go back and see all the videos that they've done, all the interviews they've done, everything you guys. So tell us, what you guys cover as far as.
So we got a couple of different shows. Our most popular one is Flatting and Chatting. Garrett used to be coloring Mavericks or at something else. And we would have on an indie creator, either a writer or an artist or a duo or, a promoter, anyone who had a book in development for crowdfunding or currently in crowdfunding. And we'd have them on, talk about their stuff, talk about who they are, talk about what they like about comics, kind of like what we do right here, just get to know them a little bit better and talk about their project. We also had Featured on the Frequency, which is when I unbox a couple of different projects that I think are similar enough to each other to be able to talk about them in one video. It's always exclusively indie content. So I feature those projects on the Frequency. And we have the Sunday night is all right for singing karaoke live stream that Frequency Girl runs. She has 3 or 4 hours of singing every other Sunday.
It's not just me, and anyone.
Yes, anyone joins. We have everybody come in and we put the link out in public, and people come in and sing karaoke. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be starting a new segment called Frog and the Freak, which is me and my friend Frog G, and we're going to review individual books and talk about the positives and negatives, and it's usually going to be indie books or crowdfunded content. Really, that's what I'm focusing on. And there are enough people out there talking about industry stuff, like professional industry level art, the books, the industry as a whole. I don't feel necessarily qualified to talk about that stuff, but I can certainly talk about what's going on in indie.
Right. Very cool. And one of these shows, do you have regular slot times for these shows?
Yeah, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can catch Featured on the or you can catch Flatting and Chatting. Featured on the Frequency comes out, sporadically when I have time to sit down and actually make a thesis for the episode that I can then, show off the 3 books. Frog and the Freak actually hasn't come out yet because I recorded a bunch of episodes, then did not have time to edit them while I was running this campaign. But that'll be coming out soon. And then the Sunday nights all right for singing karaoke sing-along is every other Sunday at I think 9.
We usually do it at
6
8.
or 9. Yeah, 8.
Last-
Sure, I know what time
I
it
was
is.
say last week we started at 9. So we won't have it this weekend, but the weekend after on the 10th we have it.
Will wants to know how we came
Yeah.
up with the name Global Frequency.
Who's
Well,
running this
I'm a-
show?
I'm sorry, I'm a host too, you know. I can't help it. I
I'm
see
like,
the
"Jesus,
comments.
man,
and
I
I'm
was just
talking
about
the
to get
comments.
there.
He does the same thing to me on our show.
I
I'll
click
like
the thing,
he
yeah.
tries to like take over the comments and like put them up, and then we wind up taking them off.
Well,
We're very
Will, how do
professional.
you think I came up with the name? So I used to
Can't
love
answer you.
Warren Ellis. His writing is fantastic. Crooked Little Vein was great. Transmetropolitan is one of my favorite. I loved Next Wave Agents of Hate. I loved Planetary and the Authority. I loved Global Frequency, the series. So if you don't know about the series, it was really more like a mini series, 12 issues, by Warren Ellis. Each one was a separate story unto itself. It was done serialized, kind of like the Twilight Zone. You know, it wasn't like a fully continuous arc
Right.
of episodes. It was you tune in whenever. But every time they had a problem that the world governments couldn't solve, Miranda Zero would show up and she would make some phone calls, and people who were on the Global Frequency would answer their phones, and she'd put together a team out of nowhere. Just people that came together to tackle a problem that was bigger than they themselves could do. But by networking the right people together, you could solve any problem. And that's kind of what I wanted to build for an artist incubator, a bunch of people who could work together to overcome obstacles that they wouldn't know how to do alone or that seemed insurmountable. I also have a personal understanding of sound and harmonic vibrations and resonance. I think there is our universe vibrates. You know what I mean? Like science has proven that our universe vibrates at a particular frequency. So there is a frequency to this world, this planet vibrates. And I think it's up to all of us to figure out how to harmonize with that vibration so that we can all kind of tune ourselves to each other. We're all connected in that way. So I wanted to make a company that whenever I said the name of the company, it reminded me of that fact every day.
Cool. Glenn wanted to know if you're on Facebook.
Yes.
I'm not.
Global Frequency Studios is. We are. I'm just gonna double check that I have.
She
it. We're
put me on Twitter.
at the Global Frequency.
I wasn't on social media before this.
You have to be when you're doing this stuff.
Yeah.
So Esteban said, I'm a first-time graphic novelist. I'm in the conceptual art phase. 2 covers already done. I'm another round of character creature concepts away from the sequential art phase. Should I bite the bullet and finance the book 100% independently and then go to Kickstarter? Or is it normal to go to Kickstarter route to pay for sequential art?
Do you want to take first crack? You go first.
I'm going to tell you, Kickstarter is to print the book, not fund the book. I highly recommend you fund it. Another reason is if you take too long to fulfill, and that is going to happen if you're expecting the money from Kickstarter to pay for the book, you are not going to have people come back for the next project you do. So the best thing you can do is fund the first book, just like any other business. You have to put capital into it. You put your goals set, you print the book, you get it out right away, and as long as your book is solid, people are going to return for the next book. And hopefully you have some residual from what you made on the campaign to put towards the next book. But I mean, you may disagree, and you're welcome to, but I think
I agree.
Self-funding.
100%.
Yeah,
I was just going to build off of that. So if you did go to Kickstarter to fund the drawing of the book and you don't succeed, now you've got a 3/4 drawn book. What are you going to do with that? Or you say to yourself, oh, okay, well, I'll get the rest of the money to the artist. Guess what? He gets hit by a bus. Now what? You know what I mean? It's better to just do the work and get the thing that you can hold in your hands and say, this is my book. Even if it doesn't get printed and sent out to everyone all over the world, you made a book. It's yours. You have a graphic novel. If you ever were in touch with a publisher who wanted to publish your graphic novel, you have something to give them. Otherwise, you don't.
And the truth is, it's bad practice, in my opinion. And yes, I'm an art rep, but artists should never have to hope that the Kickstarter funds to get paid for a book, period.
Yep.
Their time and effort is important. And the truth is, comics are an aesthetic medium. You could be the best writer in the world. Nobody knows. They only see a cover they like that gets them to look at the book.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to treat artists right, and you pay them outright. You pay them every 5 pages is really probably the way to go. So that's just my opinion. That's my 2 cents.
Yep. No,
I did.
I agree.
I did mine with. We negotiated the page rate and everything. We figured out how much the total would be. I dropped half up front.
Nice.
And
See,
then
either one of those work. It's all good faith, because these relationships are important, and trust has got to be built. And trust is like a paycheck. It takes forever to build, to earn, and seconds to lose. So, the artist has to trust you that they're giving you the art that you haven't paid yet, and you have to trust that they're going to finish when you pay them. So, you got to meet in the middle.
Once again, you got to bring 2 people together to create something that overcomes an obstacle that they themselves can't surmount alone, right? You got to work together and train each other. And that's the thing in comic books, that can be in short supply, in any field, but especially in comic books, it can be hard to trust people. Well, in indie, you only have your reputation. That's all you have.
And
you can
the funny thing is,
you only have your rep. So no one wants to screw up their rep.
That's right. I mean, you're selling your own brand, your own self, as much as you are your book. And the funny thing is, in my experience, it's not even so much like people who want to be dishonest. It's egos.
Mm.
Everybody needs to understand the role that they're supposed to play. Okay? No one's more important than anybody else. No one's less important than anybody else. Everybody's important. It's kind of like, I'm a big Rush fan, and one of the big things about Rush is they lasted all these years because they purposely said, they're splitting everything up the middle money. No one is getting rock star treatment over the other. We're all important cogs of this machine, and no one is to get treated otherwise. And they stuck by each other. And that's why that band lasted right up until their retirement, and unfortunately Neil Peart's death. But, egos kill everything, period.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I hear what Carlos is saying. Yeah.
I have the Capital Fund the book. I was just wondering if there was a precedent for going the other way. I would recommend use the Capital.
There's absolutely a precedent. It's just not one you should use. Yeah, there's absolutely a precedent called mitigating risk. You're trying to minimize risk and exposure to yourself by going to get other people's money to fund the creation of your book. But the hard thing then is to convince them that you can actually make the book that you're selling.
Right.
So it actually requires you to sort of lie to people, because it doesn't exist yet. Carlos is right. I agree with you. If you lose thousands up front by going, half up front, and they take the money and scram, it is a hard lesson. One that you will
you had a relationship with Garrett.
Yeah.
You have a relationship with Garrett.
He lives in my house.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I have all his stuff.
And that's why I always say the best way to work is every 5 pages if it's a new person, okay? You can do a contract or not, but here's the honest truth. Contracts really don't do shit, and I'll tell you why. If they can't honor their word, they're not honoring a contract. Right. And on this level, it's not even $10,000 you're looking at. What are you going to small claims court? Well, guess what?
Right.
Small claims court doesn't do shit even if they find you in the right. You have to go get a sheriff knocking on the door to get the money back. So
hand them money when they turn in pages.
Thank you.
That way.
Every 5 pages.
Hand them money when they turn in pages.
Every 5 pages, they send them in. You give them any edits you have. Once the edits are completed, they can send you low-res pages to see that you like it. You pay them for the 5 pages.
Yep.
They give you the high-res in a Dropbox. Yep. And everybody's covered and happy because low-res you can't use to print the book.
Right.
Yep.
So you can't get stolen that way. It's just the simplest way to work.
You can check it on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how they all do it. It's all just direct messages on Twitter. It's here's the thumbnail. Here's the thing. Check that. And I have to go, Frequency Girl, I don't know where the art is going to end up. Do you know what the Dropbox is? Do you know where the Google Drive is? I have all of that
information.
30 artists still. 30 people. I didn't sign up for this.
This is why we have me. I have it all labeled in files on my computer.
And that's the thing is, you're the unsung hero here. You're the glue that keeps it all together.
I sing about her all the time.
True. No, he does. I have to say.
But no, you're right. She's the invisible force that keeps this thing, as a concept afloat.
Absolutely. I mean, she already hooked me up. I mean, it took her 2 seconds to.
Because I knew exactly where I had the information.
So before we wrap it up, I want you to give me why we want to buy this book. Why is this book special, and why are they going to pledge this? Besides the fact they don't want me toilet papering the front of their house.
Well, I think this book is special because it is the ground floor to Mavericks. And if you take a look at the amount of money that we spent bringing the project to life, but also just the amount of energy and time we've sunk into this project, I don't think that I want to stop doing that. It's kind of evident that I intend to continue doing it. So help me by letting me know there are people out there who want me to do it. Like, let me know that there's an audience that wants the book that I'm trying to give them, because I'm trying to give them the very best. And I want people who want the very best. I also want you to tell me what it is you want. You want stickers on the campaign? Tell me. You can message me through this campaign. Tell me, hey, I love this stretch goal. Wouldn't it be cool if blah? And next time we can do that, because the great thing about crowdfunding is it is the creator and the fan like joined together by the crowdfunding platform. That's what I love about it. I get to talk directly to the consumer. As far as a book, well, Mavericks Origins Volume 1, there's only ever going to be one of these books. Maybe we do a trade down the line, but we're only going to release this thing once. It's not going to be easy to get this thing in stores. I don't think I intend to go to stores with it. Volume 2 is going to be the continuation of it. We might do a catch-up tier, but guys, this is kind of your chance to get in on the ground floor of a property that I intend to spend the rest of my life developing as far as it needs to go.
And I'm also going to jump in and say that this is actually a pretty unique book. It's oversized 9x12. It is a Western comic about Mecca, and there aren't a lot of comic books about Mecca to begin with, and there are very few that are Western. The art style is really unique. That's one of the feedbacks we've gotten, is not only is Garrett's art really fantastic, but it's got this new look. It's like you said, it's got some Mobius, but it's got some Daniel Warren Johnson.
And
it's
some
got some
manga.
manga.
Yeah.
Like it's a very cool aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it's 9x12, 60 pages for $20.
Book.
Nice.
Square bound. Like some people do on their crowdfunder, they do like upgrades. Like if we hit this stretch goal, we'll do spot gloss, or we hit this stretch goal, we'll do higher quality paper. I didn't do that because I just wanted the very best book from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to make those stretch goals in there. Like, let's give them patches or stickers or buttons or something. I want to have a fully badass book ready to go right out the gate.
Real quick, Esteban. No, what I mean is, like, say you have a 20-page book or a 30-page book. Every 5 pages that are done, you then pay for the 5 pages, and then they continue working. The first 5 pages are done. You give them the edits. They like them. You pay them. The artist, he or she continues 6 through 10. You pay them. So you're paying them every 5 pages while you're making your 20, 25, 30-page book. The flow continues. And the artist feels comfortable that the money is flowing in, because you know what? Artists also can't wait a month to get paid, towards the end of a book. So every 5 pages of whatever length your project is. As far as the Kickstarter link, yes. Can I ask you, Carlos or Roy or Glenn or somebody, grab the link and put it in the chat? Or if you have another computer open, Kim, can you do that?
Yeah, she can do that. Absolutely. Yeah, you get the contract for the book. You guys look at the script. If you do thumbnails, you do thumbnails. So you make the contract for the book, but you pay in 5-page installments so that it's meted out over time, and they can eat and work on it, and you can start putting things together. Honestly, if you're doing it 5 pages at a time and they're not coloring it, it's perfect time to send it off to the colorist. So you're getting that done. And letters.
And letters
exactly.
are digital now. You can do letters over pencils, and then it's just a digital transfer once the colors are put in place. So you can see how the letter placement works. And that's what I do on my book. The pages are going, and then the colorist is following right behind, and the letters are already being done on them. It does speed up the process. It keeps everybody going, as long as you have the money, of course, to pay all these people every 5 pages. But again, you're building trust. You both feel comfortable with what's going on. You're getting the work, it's being done. And the other thing is, hey, when you're paying every 5 pages, artists are a little more motivated to get the work done, as opposed to, well, if I got to wait and see if this Kickstarter is done, when I get to it, because this other guy's paying me, So, guys, Global Frequency Studios, they have their YouTube channel with Monday, Wednesday, Friday shows. They have right now Mavericks on Kickstarter. It just wrapped up recently on Indiegogo and it did really well.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're still in demand over there if you want the Indiegogo covers, because like I said, they're different campaigns. There's different covers on both platforms.
Awesome. 12 total covers, you said, right? Between the two platforms.
Yep.
And I put the link to the Kickstarter in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you.
On Facebook.
So, guys, they're putting so much into this. At the very least, I'm really confident that your money would not be wasted. It's a worthwhile investment. I mean, we sit here and we complain about the big two and they're regurgitating garbage or they're writing characters the way you don't want them written, but yet we're not investing in the indie community in the level we should. And the indie community is like any other industry. It needs money, economy to thrive, circulating economy, okay? Forego that one Big Mac meal, number 7 for $12 frickin' at Wendy's that's clogging your arteries just this 1 week and go back this book. It's really not a lot of money. And you might walk away going, damn, this was good. Damn, and if at the very least there's a lot of great sweat.
I can guarantee you're going to walk away from this with a book that you go, well, damn, that was good. And we're going to get better. That's the other thing is we're just going to keep getting better. So give us a reason to get better. Let us know that there are people out there in an audience who wants to read what we're putting out. More than anything, I'm not even worried about the money. I want to know there are people who want to read my book, who want a cool mecha story, like, mecha, meets G.I. Joe, anything like that. If you guys want the story that I want to tell, that's what I want to know. I want to know that you're interested.
And just so you know, if you can't afford to back, share, like, a comment, a 2-second emoji comment bumps up their posts in the news feed.
That's true.
And gives them more attention. So you can do so much to help a campaign by putting a thumbs up emoji in the damn chat. That comment bumps it up and they get seen by more people. There's so many ways you can support an indie artist if you cannot support with your wallet. Here's the other thing. If you back the book and you read the book, don't stay quiet about it. Tell everybody how much you like it. Let everyone know. Spread the word.
Yeah, and if there's something you don't like, tell me. Because like I said, I redid this book twice. I'll just redo the next one. Like I got no problem hearing criticism. None whatsoever. But I mean, my editor says it's at a good spot. So I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now. But if you don't like something, tell me.
Cool. Well, look, it was great to have you guys on. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I think this looks awesome. I can't wait to get my copy. I will be backing. Thanks. And I really thought I did already. I'm losing my mind.
That's okay. It's honestly, it's more exciting this way, right?
Yeah.
Well, it makes me wonder, did I back the Indiegogo? I don't know.
I can check for you if you want.
Well, if you did, then hopefully you got a spare cover so that you're not just getting the book on Indiegogo. You want to get an Indiegogo cover. Right? You want to get a cover for that.
Well, V-Ken's one of my favorite artists.
So get it on Kickstarter because he's on
exactly.
Kickstarter. Yeah.
He is a good guy.
Personally, I love the Katapano cover over on Indiegogo. If you're going to get another one, that blue goes really nicely with the V-Ken red.
Cool. Well, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I wish you much success. Keep going.
Thank you so much.
And I really do. I hope everything works out. And after that Indiegogo, I hope Kickstarter just kicks ass.
Yeah.
Have a great night, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
you too. Take it easy.
Bye.
So, Global Frequency, Neff and Frequency Girl. Really cool people. They have a great show for you to watch if you want to see a lot of indie entertainment and creators, etc. Garrett's a really, really talented artist and nice guy. And Mavericks just looks fantastic. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's on demand on Indiegogo right now. There are different covers on Indiegogo than there are on Kickstarter. So if you're a cover collector or if you just want to take a look and see, go look at both and see what covers you want. Again, amazing swag. I'm going to show you one last time real quick. Besides the covers that we have here, I mean, for crying out loud, there's a metal lunchbox. If you're over 40, you're freaking jumping for joy on that. Are you kidding me? A metal freaking lunchbox. And look at these interiors. Beautiful work. Top quality work. Very, very professional looking book. And the indie community needs more of that. So you have to help them be able to fund these professional looking books. Look at all this swag, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Pins, patches, prints, trading cards, bookmarks. I mean, damn. Let's go. Let's get them to a motion comic, animated short. That's just insane. And again, a freaking lunchbox. Where is it? Show it one last time. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There's so much stuff on here. T-shirts too, and calendars, and the really cool added bonus, the short stories in this missions book, and metal lunchbox, and I guess it's a gamer pad or a mouse pad or anything you want to use it for. You got your mug. They got a mini. This is the wickedest thing, man. They got the freaking flash drive with added content. Carlos just backed. Awesome, Carlos. So, I mean, and then again, the way to go, fully loaded campaign box. You get a nice, beautiful decorated box with everything in here. The dog tag. Again, you could get a specialized mech through their website that they're building right now. I mean, it's just crazy. And the love that's been put into this, the dedication that's been put into this, you'd be a fool not to back it and trust in them. Trust in them. Trust in them. This is going to be a great project. I mean, and it's going to go places and it's going to blow up. So do it, because I also really don't have the time to drive to your houses and toilet paper. I will, but I don't have the time. So don't make me do that at like 3 a.m, because I'm freaking tired. Anyway, before we go, I just want to remind you, Tragedy Chapter 2, November 1st, Kickstarter, Tyler Kirkham cover, Al Garza cover, colored by Alex Sinclair. We've Ryan Kincaid cover. We got a lot of indie covers. Chris Sotomayor is coloring the interiors. No problem. Glad to have you on. Ricardo's killing it on. He's upped his game big time, and Jason's back for letters. So please come on out. November 1st, Kickstarter. Tragedy Strikes Again. And if you read the first book and you saw that ending, you're going to want to know what happens. All right, guys. What do I always tell you? Be legendary and have fun storming the castle.